Yeah, we're gonna start this webinar. I'm gonna talk you a little bit about of Colombia. Uh, we're gonna start here. This is a couple of very special birds because this is two birds that you can only find in Colombia. These are Colombian endemics, and this bird species you can find it very close to my city. I live in Cali City. It's a city southwest of Colombia. And one of the good birding areas around Cali City is the Kilometer 18. I will talk you a little bit later about the Kilometer 18, but you can find these two beauties. The one to the left is the multicolored tanager, and the one to the right is the chestnut woodquail. And these are very, very special birds. Um Many years ago, these birds used to be very difficult to find in this location, and the recent years start to getting more easy to see because now in the Kilometer 18 we have many feeder stations and different locations, different lodges that you can visit, and you can see these two beauties at feeder stations. So why is Colombia the country with more bird species in the world? Uh, So like Adam was mentioned, we have more than 1,900 bird species in the country. That's nearly 20% of the world bird species. We have an exceptional ecosystem diversity that I will show you a little bit and talking you a little bit more about this ecosystem diversity. A world-class destination for bird watchers and growing infrastructure and accessibility for birding tourism. And the bird in the right side is a toucan barbet. It's a bird you can find in Colombia and also in Ecuador in the biogeographic Choco region. Also, I will talk you a little bit later about this wonderful region. So endemic birds of Colombia, we have more than 80 endemic species. And there is here two examples of these endemic Colombian endemics. The one to the left is a yellow-eared parrot, and the one to the right is a white-mantled barbet. These two species are Colombian endemics. Also, near-endemic species are very special in the country. We have around 193 near-endemic species that we share with our neighborhood countries. And I want to show you a couple of these near-endemic species. Then also you can see in the biogeographic Choco region, very wonderful area that we share with Ecuador. So these two species are considered Choco endemics. They are endemics from this region, but you can see it in Colombia, but you can see it also in Ecuador. Okay, the one to the left is a glistening green tanager, and the one to the right is a rufous-throated tanager. These two beauties, you can see it also around Cali City. There, we got an easy access to the biogeographic Choco area, and also we visit a wonderful place with feeder stations, and these two species, we can see it at the feeder stations. Also, Colombia is a hummingbird paradise. We have more than 160 hummingbird species. Very impressive number for hummingbirds. You can find hummingbirds almost in all the different ecosystems. And there is the three examples here of hummingbirds you can find in Colombia. The one in the left side is a rainbow-bearded thornbill. This is a high elevation hummingbird that you can see high in the Andes in the Paramo ecosystem. And top right, there is a swordbill hummingbird that you can see this impressive beak. And also the species below is an indigo cap hummingbird that is another Colombian endemic. So I want to show you this map of Colombia. I want to explain you a little bit about our geography. We are located in the northern part of South America, and we are also connected through Panama to Central America. And we also have the advance to have this Pacific Ocean in the Caribbean Sea. And we also have the three branches on the Andes. They create diverse habitats. So here in the middle, you can see the Andes. They come all the way from the south of the continent. But something special here in Colombia is the Andes in the south start to split in three mountain ranges or three branches. And you can see here in this map, there is the Western Andes, there is the Central Andes, and there is the Eastern Andes. Okay? So here in the Western Andes, from the Pacific, we can see the Pacific in the left side, and all this area is the biogeographic Chocó. We have a big part in the Pacific Ocean in Colombia, and we share this ecosystem with Ecuador. Then in the Western Andes, between the Western and Central, we have a valley that is the Cauca Valley. This valley is named by the Cauca River. There is a second largest river in the country. They start in the south of Colombia and they flow all the way into the north into the Caribbean Sea. And then we got the Central Andes. In this Central Andes, we also have cloud forests and paramos ecosystem, high elevation in the Andes. We have volcanoes also in this Central Andes. And then from the Central Andes, if you move to the Eastern Andes, there is another valley in the middle. This is the Magdalena Valley. This is the largest river in Colombia. This river starts also in the south of Colombia, and they float all the way into the north, into the Caribbean Sea. It's a river have more than 1,500 kilometers. So it's a pretty long river. And this particular of these two big valleys, the Magdalena and the Cauca Valley, these are tropical dry forest. So it's a different ecosystem than what you got up in the Andes. And here in the Eastern Andes, we got our main city, Bogota City, but something particular in the north is we have a little piece of the Andes here. This is the Perija Mountains. It's a little piece of the Andes that we share only with Venezuela. Very good birding also in this location. There are some Perija endemics that you can only see in Colombia and Venezuela. So very unique part. And then we have at the most north part, we have the Santa Marta Mountains. These Santa Marta Mountains are very special because they are isolated from the Andes. This is like a big island. And then when we go down again in the Eastern Andes, we got all these Orinoco region. These are the llanos, the Colombian llanos. This is flat areas, wetlands. And if you continue going down, we got the Amazon. We got a big piece of the Amazon region, all this part of Colombia. See the Amazon. We have border with Ecuador, Peru, and Brazil. And also we have a little bit influence in this area from the Guianan Shield. So very unique mix between the llanos, between this Orinoco region. Here is the Orinoco River that is the border with Venezuela. And then through the Guianan Shield, they connect through the Amazon. We have a lot of big part of the Amazon down here. So yes, this is some of the ecosystems in Colombia. This is one of the reasons we have so many bird species. We have many different ecosystems in the same country. We have these elevation ranges, very tall elevation ranges, more than 5,700 meters in the Andes. So I'm gonna talk you a little bit about the different ecosystems. I was showing you a little bit in the map, but now I can talk you little bit more about these ecosystems. And we have the Andes. Then, like I was showing you before, they create these three mountain ranges and different habitat. We have cloud forest, paramos ecosystem. We have the elevation range from tropical valleys and high altitude paramos, create remarkable variety of climates and habitats, and the source of many of Colombia's most important rivers. Like I was showing you in the south, big rivers that start in the Andes. And down here to the left, you can see this is a picture from the Andes. This is a very beautiful location in the Western Andes. This is the Tatama National Park. And you can see the mountains in this picture. I will talk you a little bit more about this national park later. And one of the iconic birds in the Andes is this beautiful eagle. This is the black and chestnut eagle. Sadly, it's an endangered species, but it's an icon of the Andes. Also, the cloud forest. This home of tanagers, hummingbirds, or quetzals. Constant moisture from clouds and fog, cold temperature and high humidity, dense vegetation covered with ferns, orchids, and bromeliads, rich soil support diverse cover with moist wildlife. Yes, this is another very unique ecosystem. A lot of humidity also, and there is a couple of pictures, a couple of examples again. The lower left picture is again in the Tatama National Park. We're birding here up in the cloud forest and in the Andean part. And this hummingbird in the right side, this is an Andean emerald. It's one of the jewels of the hummingbirds you can find in the cloud forest. The Paramo ecosystem. It's one of the most unique high altitude environment. Colombia is home to more than 50% of the Paramos ecosystem. Paramo ecosystem play crucial role in water regulation and biodiversity conservation. Yes, it's another very special ecosystem that we have in our Colombian Andes. Very unique. A lot of good birds like this beautiful shining sunbeam in the right. You can see this is a male with the iridescent in the back. And this is a traditional view in the left from the Paramo ecosystem. It's a very special plant. This is a Speletia or frailejón. They grow up only in the high elevation areas, more than 3,000 meters elevation. And it's an amazing plant. It's very good he worked like a sponge. They collect the water from the rain and from the humidity, from the fog. And they catch the humidity and they take it down. And we have big lagoons in the Paramo ecosystem, and in this ecosystem, and when they start the biggest rivers in Colombia. Okay, another ecosystem is the biogeographic Choco region. This is one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. They extend from eastern Panama along the Pacific coast of Colombia into northwest Ecuador, renowned for its exceptional levels of endemics and high annual rainfall. Yeah, this is one of the most raining areas in the world. And it's another very unique ecosystem. A lot of endemics from this region that we share with Ecuador. And this is a couple of pictures from the bioregion, from the Choco bioregion. And this is in the Pacific lowlands. This is the San Cipriano Reserve. And this is a location you can get also from Cali City. It's like 100 kilometers, 2 hours and a half driving. And you will be in the Pacific lowlands to get into this beautiful reserve, the San Cipriano Reserve. And one of the birds you can find there, this is the white-tailed trogon. It's another iconic bird from this kind of ecosystem. tropical dry forest, one of Colombia's most endangered ecosystem with less than 10% of this ecosystem. This is mainly because cattle farming and agriculture, because these tropical dry forests are a flat area, so it's very easy to get different kinds of agriculture, get a cattle farming. Support high numbers of endemics and threatened species, provides essential ecosystem service, includes soil protection and water regulation, and plays an important role in maintaining ecological connectivity between different habitats. Yes, we have these two big valleys, the Cauca Valley and the Magdalena Valley, and around these valleys, we have this tropical dry forest. And these particular pictures are from a location that is 1 hour north from Cali. This is the Sonso Lagoon, which is a wetland and a dry forest ecosystem. You can see the left and right photo is, you can see a little bit how it's look, the tropical dry forest. And the picture in the middle, this is a very, very tiny woodpecker. This is another Colombian endemic that you can find in the tropical dry forest. This is the grayish picolet. Another ecosystem, the Llanos, all the eastern part of Colombia, from the eastern Andes, we got the Llanos. This is a big ecosystem we share also with Venezuela. Extensive tropical savanna with distinctive wet and dry season. A network of major rivers, wetland, foodplains, and gallery forest. Open landscapes that provide excellent wildlife viewing opportunities, and one of the largest tropical savannas ecosystems in South America. Another very, very unique ecosystem. This is what you see lower to the left. This is what you see traditional in the dry season. We visit in our tour, we visit the Atoll Aurora. There is Juan Solito Lodge. That is the lodge when we stay. And in the dry season, it's very particular because you can visit the wetlands, and in the wetlands, because it's dry, so it's a small portion, and they have different wetlands, but it's small, so that's why we have these concentrations of many bird species like spoonbills, russet spoonbills, and jabiru's, and different species of ibises, egrets, whistling dogs. So it's amazing. This is a photo from the Juan Solito Lodge in the Colombian Llanos. This is in the Casanare department. And one of the iconic birds, the lower to the right, this is the Orinoco goose. This is one of the beauties you can find in this ecosystem. And in the gallery forest around, you can see this wartail manatee at the top right. This is another of the beauties you can find in this kind of ecosystem in the Llanos. Now the Amazon rainforest, one of the planet's greatest wilderness area. In Colombia, they cover approximately 35% of the land area. Dense tropical rainforest with warm temperature and high rainfall year-round. It's a very humid place. Home to very big rivers, including tributaries of the Amazon. They start a lot of the rivers, they get into the Amazon River in this area. And this is one of the most largest intertropical forest ecosystem. The picture you can see lower left, you can see a little bit of mountain because this is in the south of Colombia. This is the Amazon foothills. Very, very special area, a lot of birds in these foothills. You go all the way from the Andes to the Paramo ecosystem, and you go all the way down into the flat areas in the Amazon. This is particularly the picture. This is in the south of Colombia. This is the road. They connect Pasto City, one of the southest cities we have in the border with Ecuador, and they connect Pasto City with Mocoa City. That is the department to get into the Amazon. And one of the birds you can find in the Amazon is this beautiful cream color woodpecker. The Caribbean coast, all the north part of Colombia. We have wetlands, mangrove, dry forests, and migration roads. Over 1,600 kilometers of Caribbean coastlines, hub to mangroves, tropical dry forests, wetlands, coral reef, and coastal mountains. And in this area, like I was showing you before in the map, we have the Santa Marta Mountains, and we have the Sierra Nevada National Park. It's the Sierra Nevada Santa Marta. There is the world's highest coastal mountain range and a global center of endemism. This is the tallest mountain in the world, close to the ocean. They get into the ocean into almost 6,000 meter elevation. And also a lot of endemics in these Santa Marta Mountains, and very special for migratory birds, especially the birds they come from the north. It's an area where you can see different species of warblers. They migrate from the north part of the continent. And yes, and this is a picture. You can see the ocean in the mountain. This is around Santa Marta City. And you can see how close are the mountains from the Caribbean Sea. Okay, now I was showing you the different ecosystems, and now I'm gonna show you a little bit of these birding hotspots. This is a map of one of the tours we do. This is called the Very Best of Colombia. And this Very Best of Colombia tour, we start in Cali City. Cali have an international airport, so you can get from different countries to Cali City. And then from Cali City, we start to bird in. Cali City is located in the valley. It's a tropical dry forest. And then from here, we start to move to locations into the Western Andes. We go to the Finca La Florida, which is in the kilometer 18, and Doña Dora Feeders, which is biogeographic Choco ecosystem. This is the Anchicaya area. And we also go to the San Cipriano Reserve in the lowlands. And then from there, we start to move to Buga City, a little bit north. And in Buga City, we visit the Sonso Lagoon, this wetland with dry forest ecosystem. From there, we start to move to the Central Andes. We visit Cajamarca area. We visit a beautiful area, Retorno del Colibrí, which have beautiful and very good feeder stations. And we also visit the Puerto Esparro Reserve. And from there, we continue going again across the valley and go to the Western Andes again. We visit the Montezuma Lodge, which is in the Tatama National Park. The pictures I show you earlier from the Tatama National Park. So we visit this Montezuma Eco Lodge. And from there, we go to Pereira City, again in the Central Andes. We visit from there, we go to Manizales City. In Pereira, we visit Otunquimbaya Sanctuary. And from there, we move to Manizales City. And we use Manizales as a base again. And from there, we do just day trips to the Rio Blanco Reserve, the Hacienda El Bosque, and to Los Nevados National Park. And then from Manizales, we drive back to Pereira. And then from Pereira have another international airport. From there, you can take your flights out. You can also connect to Bogota, to the capital, or also through Cali. They have these international airports also. And some of the birding spots in the Western Andes, we visit in our tours. This is the kilometer 18 area, and we visit the Finca La Florida. This a wonderful finca. They have hummingbirds and banana feeders, and they attract different bird species. This is a photo. The cabins below is recently built in Finca La Florida. They have these beautiful cabins in the middle of the mountains, very close to the feeder station and to the kilometer 18 roads when you can bird in around. And two of the bird species you can see in this Finca La Florida includes this crimson rum toucanet at the top right, and below there is a blue-winged mountain tanager. Also the Sonso Lagoon around Buga City, which is a tropical dry forest and a wetland. And another location in the Western Andes is Jardín in the Antioquia region. This is more close to Medellin city, another of the biggest cities in Colombia. And we visit this location mainly for the yellow-eared parrots that you can find it up in the mountains in the Andes around Jardín area, and also the Andean cock of the rock. There's a beautiful lake around this area, and you can find this species. Another of the Choco biogeographic birding sites include Doña Dora Birding, which is in the Anchicaya area. This is a couple hours driving from Cali all the way into the Pacific slope of the Western Andes. If you continue going down in that road, you can get into a San Cipriano Reserve. And other location we visit, very good birding site, is the Montezuma Lodge in the Tatama National Park. This location is 3 hours driving around from Pereira City, and you get into this wonderful Tatama National Park. And in this Montezuma Lodge, we can find these two beauties, these two tanagers. These are two Colombian endemics. The one to the left is the gold ring tanager, and the one to the right is a black and gold tanager. These two are endemics from Colombia, and one of the best locations to find it is in the Tatama National Park. Now we move for the good birding areas in the Central Andes. This is like the coffee region, so they have different reserves and iconic birds. And one of the reserves is the Rio Blanco Reserve. This is the picture below in the left side. This is a picture of the Rio Blanco Reserve. They also have wonderful hummingbird feeders and banana feeder stations. And also they have another kind of feeder station. They feed these ant pitas, and they feed them with worms. So these two birds on the right side, these are ant pitas. They come to the feeders. They attracted with worms. The one to the top right is a brown-banded ant pita, which is a Colombian endemic. And the one below is a slate-crowned ant pita. So these ant pitas are very, very difficult to see without a feeder station. It's a challenge. You have to take a lot of time to have a glimpse of a view of this ant pita. So in this feeder station, they give you very, very great opportunities, photo opportunities and view opportunities. Another locations in the Central Andes includes Los Nevados National Park, which is this photo below in the left. This is a photo from the national park. You can see in the back, they have a little bit of snow at the top. This is a volcano, the Nevado del Ruiz volcano, which is inside the national park. And one of the iconic birds we find in this national park is this beautiful hummingbird at the top right, which is the Buffy helmet crest. This is an endemic of Colombia, restricted to the Central Andes and a few locations in the Central Andes in high elevations ecosystems. Another location in the Central Andes is the Otunquimbaya Sanctuary. This is close to Pereira City, and it's also very good birding areas. We go there for an endemic guan, which is the Cauca guan, one of the best locations to find this guan. And we also visit around Manizales City in Los Nevados National Park, the Hacienda El Bosque. Beautiful place especially for photos of birds. They have wonderful feeder stations, and they feed ampitas with worms also. And one of the beauties is this ampita in the lower right, which is the crescent face ampita. A very special ampita. This is an endemic only in Colombia and Ecuador. And there is a few spots when you can find it, but in this place, they feed them with worms. So you have these great opportunities to see this ant pita. This is a different tour we offer. This is the Andean Endemic Tour. And we visit different locations here. This is the central and the eastern Andes. And we have the Magdalena Valley in the middle. So this particular tour, we start in Medellin City. This is one of the largest cities in Colombia, uh, more or less than 3 million of inhabitants. And in Medellin City, we just use Medellin as a base and we start to birding around. We visit Yarumal, we visit El Toche Natural Reserve, and then we move to Jardín, beautiful coffee town, very good birding, looking for the yellow-eared parrots. And then we start to move into the dry forest ecosystem, the Magdalena Valley. We visit Rio Claro, Honda in the Tolima department. We go to the Guarinocito Lake, which is in the Magdalena Valley, looking for some of the specialities of the Magdalena Valley. And then we continue going to Bogota and we stop in the Laguna de Tabacal. And then from Bogota, we start to birding around Bogota. Bogota is a high ecosystem city, is pretty high, almost 3,000 meters elevation. So from there, we visit different wetlands. We have some wetlands, the Parque La Florida, the Huasca wetlands, Bosque Guajira, and we visit a national park that is the Chingaza National Park. And in this national park we have very good chances to see a spectacled bear. So in this time of the year, we do this Andean endemic tour. We have chances to see the spectacular Andean bear. And then from Bogota, we just fly out. This is biggest airport in Colombia. Also have connection with different international airport with different countries. And some of the good birding spots in the Eastern Andes around Bogota includes the Chingaza National Park, and the Reserva Natural Bosque Guajira. Some of the unique birds you can find in the lower left. This is the Bogota rail. This is an endemic species that you can find in the wetlands in the Bogota Savanna around Bogota. Very, very unique Colombian endemic. And also this hummingbird to the right, this is a blue-throated starfrontlet. This blue-throated starfrontlet is located in the eastern part of the country and also western Venezuela. You can find it very beautiful. In some of the location, they show up at the feeder station, so we have good chances at the feeder station to find this beauty. Another of the tours we offer, this is the Uncover Colombia. We also call it the Very Best of Colombia Part 2. Also, this tour we start in Cali City, but then from Cali, we start to move all the way south of Colombia. So we go to Popayán City, and from there we visit the Puracé National Park, which is a beautiful páramo ecosystem. We have very good chances to see the Andean condor in this location. And then from there, we continue going south into Pasto City. This is the border with Ecuador. You can see the border with Ecuador down. And from Pasto City, which is another high elevation city, we birding around in different páramos ecosystem. And from there, we start to move into Mocoa City, which is the entrance to the Amazon. So we birding all this transition between the páramo ecosystem and the Amazon foothills. So very good birding in this location. And from there, we continue going lower into Puerto Asís. We're birding in Puerto Asís. And from there, we take a flight all the way up to Bogota. And from Bogota, we stay a day in Bogota, and then the next day we move to the Colombian Llanos. We fly to Yopal City, and from Yopal we just drive to the Juan Solito Lodge, which is a beautiful location in the Colombian Llanos. The picture I showed you earlier is about the Llanos ecosystem. So we stay a few days in this Juan Solito Lodge. Very good birds, also very good for big mammals. And from there, we go back to Yopal and take a flight back to Bogota, and we finish our tour in Bogota City. One of the good birding spots around these locations in the Amazon is pretty remote, but it's very good birding experiences. This is the trampoline road. This road they connect between Pasto City and Mocoa City. So this is the picture below, all the Amazon foothill, all these Amazon foothills. We can actually see in this picture a little bit the road. This is the road. They connect all the way from the Paramo ecosystem to the Amazon, and we cross all these foothills. Wonderful birding area. And some of the, into Mocoa City, some of the birding places include the Finca de Escosura and the Finca El Escondite. This bird at the top right, this was actually a nice picture, very wonderful picture from Norman. Norman was a participant in that was actually a tour this year. In the beginning of the year, we do the Uncover Colombia or Very Best of Colombia too. And around Finca de Escosura, we just was birding around, and this beautiful paradise tanager show up, and Norman got this wonderful shot of this, one of the most beautiful tanagers in the Amazon. And also birding in this tour in the trampoline road, we can find the Andean cock of the rock, one of the icons of the Andes. There is the picture in the right low. And we actually, in this tour in February, we find a female building a nest in this trampoline road. So it's a bird species you can find in this area. Another of the tours we offer, this is the Santa Marta Escape. One of the shorter tours we offer, but it's very productive. We just explore all the north of Colombia. We fly from Bogota to Valledupar City. In Valledupar City, we just get into the Perija Mountains. This is the most north part of the Eastern Andes. We're birding in the natural reserve Chamisero El Perijá or Perijá Thistle Tail. And then we move to La Jagua. And from there, we start to go into Riohacha, which is, we visit a sanctuary, Los Flamencos. Very good birding in this area. This is a desert. It's a tropical dry forest, but it's more desertic area. And from there, we go to Santa Marta, and we move to the mountains. At the top of the mountains in Santa Marta, the gate to get into the mountains is Minca, which is very good birding. So we're birding a little bit about Minca, and then we go up into almost 3,000 meters elevation for birding and to try to find most I can of the endemic birds of these Santa Marta mountains. Very unique bird species. And from there, we just drive to Barranquilla City. And from Barranquilla City, we just fly out. It's another international airport. Barranquilla, Santa Marta also have an international airport. A little bit next to Barranquilla is Cartagena City, also have an international airport. So you have different access to get into this area. And some of the good birding spots around the Santa Marta mountains. So we have the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, this national park. This is the world's highest coastal mountain range, raising from sea level to almost 6,000 meters elevation in just 42 kilometers. One of the most important biodiversity hotspots in the continent, with remarkable concentrations of endemic bird species. It's isolated, like I was mentioning you before, from the Andes. So they have exceptional levels of endemism, making a very good birding destination. So the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta is home to more than 20 birdemic species than nowhere else in Earth you can find. And this is one of the impressive views of the Santa Marta Mountains in the lower left. This is one of the most beautiful views in the country, to see these majestic mountains in the Santa Marta Mountains. And to the right is a couple of the many endemics you can find up in the mountains. The top right, this is the Santa Marta Wood Star. This is a female at the picture. And the one below is the Santa Marta parakeet, another endemic of these beautiful mountains. Some of the birding sites in the northern Colombia trail we do includes the natural reserve Chamisero El Perijá or Perijá Thistletail, which is one of the Perijá endemics we try to find in the top in the Perijá Mountains. This is an endemic from this mountain that we share with Venezuela. We have the sanctuary Los Flamencos, which is around Rio Hacha area. It's one of the most north parts in the country. Very good birds. We have the ocean also for short birds. A lot of short birds show around, and we also have dry forests. So they have a lot of unique birds. Most of these birds are near endemic species that we only share with Venezuela. Another of the location is Minca. The picture in the middle this is Minca. This is a view of Minca from the mountains, and you can actually behind this mountain, this is the Caribbean Sea. You can see from the mountains the Caribbean Sea. And another location, the Mountain House, which is a beautiful place in the top right. They have wonderful feeder stations. They have wonderful food. We stay in this place when we visit the Santa Marta Mountains. Very kind people and very special birds in these northern Colombia birding sites. Community-based tourism. So bird tourism help to protect the habitats, encourage habitat protection. Birding creates local jobs and incomes, and support local communities and conservation. We have many, many examples of this in Colombia. And these photos are particular from the Montezuma Eco Lodge. This is to the lower left, this is a view of the Montezuma Lodge with some of the birds you can find there. In the middle, there is our local guide and our driver, and there is, you support the local communities, they make our food. So when we're birding up in the mountains, we have delivery breakfast, we take our breakfast with us, and we have delivery lunch. So it's very unique birding there, and the people is very kind in this location of Colombia. And we bird in the Tatama National Park, one of the best locations in the country for birding. So thank you very much. Thank you very much to everybody who have been joined to this webinar. And I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and welcome to Colombia.